손흥민이 소속된 LAFC는 현재 승점 53점으로 MLS 서부 컨퍼런스 4위에 위치하고 있습니다. 앞으로 4경기를 남겨둔 상황에서 1위 샌디에고와의 승점 차는 겨우 7점. 샌디에고의 잔여 경기는 2경기밖에 없기에 한 번이라도 삐끗한다면 손흥민의 LAFC가 서부 1위까지 올라갈 수도 있는 상황이죠. 사실 이미 플레이오프에서 홈 어드밴테이지는 얻은 상황이라서 꼭 1위를 안 해도 되긴 하지만 그래도 1위 하면 기분이 좋잖아요. 문제는 1위보다 2위 밴쿠버가 더 위협적이라는 거. 자, 하지만 손흥민은 남은 4경기들 중에서 최소 2경기는 결장이 확정입니다. 10월 6일 월요일에 펼쳐지는 애틀란타와의 홈경기까지는 출전하더라도 10월 9일에 있는 토론토와의 맞대결은 A매치 때문에 빠지는 게 유력하거든요. 한국이 10월 10일에 브라질과 평가전이니까 최소 8일 정도에는 한국에 들어와야 훈련도 하고 경기 준비도 할 수 있죠. 그리고 14일에 파라과이 전까지 치른다고 보면 손흥민은 토론토전과 오스틴전 2경기를 빠지게 되는 상황입니다. 그럼 손흥민에게 주어진 경기는 단 2경기. 이 2번의 기회만에 손흥민이 또 골을 넣으면서 자, 이번 시즌 10골을 돌파할 수 있을까요? 8경기 8골이라고는 하지만 솔직히 이적하자마자 첫 2경기 정도는 완전 적응기고 댈러스전부터 치면 딱 6경기거든요. 6경기 8골이면 10경기 10골은 충분히 가능한 목표처럼 보이기도 하는데요. 이 페이스면 다음 시즌에는 손흥민이 MLS의 유력한 득점왕 후보입니다. 실제 미국 현지에서도 이런 예측이 나오고 있는데 그 내용을 지금부터 함께 보시죠.
We're talking about Son Heung-min, 8 games, 8 goals. I wonder how many goals Sonny scores next season. I'll ask you that. And I want to mention, right now the Golden Boot is Messi's got 24 and Denny Bonga's got 23. Sam Surridge of Nashville has 22. The record's 34, which means a goal a game. That was Carlos Vela in 2019 for LAFC. No one's getting that. And maybe, can Son Heung-min keep this pace? That's the question I ask you. I think Son's going to be really effective, but they're still figuring him out. I feel bad for Thomas Baumgartel, the St. Louis defender, because he kept backing up. He almost ran into his goalkeeper because he didn't know what to do with Sonny. I figured defenders are going to get better at that. We saw that with Messi too. Messi's, a unicorn, and I'm not comparing Son to there, but the way he plays, they're going to get used to. I think he's going to score goals, but I don't think he's going to average a goal a game. So, John, I think next year we're probably thinking in the boot race, 25. What do you think, Mo? Let's see if we're right. We'll circle back in a year and see if we're right.
I do definitely think it is. I think the second year is always challenging for players because, to your point, you watch players from afar, right? I'm sure everyone in this league, every defender in this league that's played against Son to date, and that will play against him, whether in these final 4 games or in the postseason, will have seen him play, right? They would have seen him play, obviously, for LAFC, but even before that, internationally, at the club level in Europe. But yet it's still challenging when you actually go to face an opponent because what you see on TV versus how they actually move in real life, there's still subtle differences that you got to adjust to. So I do think the second year is always more challenging for the player because now teams are more familiar with them. There's more tape on him from a domestic level. That being said, I think he's just a quality player, right? Because he's effective in the way that he can take you on 1v1. He can go either side. He's not one-dimensional. He doesn't have to favor his right or his left foot. He can go either way and is comfortable in that regard. He's a smart player, first of all. Footballing IQ is up there. And so that allows him to play off a player as well. He can connect and combine with Denny Bwanga, with the wing backs, with an attacking player coming out of midfield because his IQ, his footballing intelligence is so high. So I think his traits and his skill set, man, I see him hitting, you said 25?
I say 25.
Oof. Do you know what? What did Bwanga get last year? He's at 23 now. He got 20 some on last year. Well, I think 20 on the nose last year. And you know what? I'll rock with you. I'll rock with you on that. I'll go with 25. I think 25 is a good number. He's at 8 now already, right?
He's at 8, so he's not going to do it. I think he'll probably end up with. I don't think he's going to get too much more this. Let's say 12. Still great. That's still averaging a goal a game. Maybe say 10 or 11. I don't think he's going to average a goal a game. He's probably going to miss a game. We'll get to that in a moment. But
I think the other part though, Max, is like obviously Steve Toronto is leaving, right? So whoever the next manager that comes in, it'll be interesting to see how he decides to play this team, right? If he wants to play with a more traditional number 10, for example, behind Bawanga and Son. If he want like that, I think all those things will also factor into what position he's starting in. Is he starting as a traditional winger playing wide? Is he starting more as a number 9? Is he playing in a 2-striker system? Those things will also lend themselves. But I think Son is going to have success next year. I think this is a good starting point for him. He's getting his feet wet, right? If that shouldn't scare opponents, if we're going to attach that phrase to what he's done already so far in Major League Soccer, as much as teams are now going to have more tape on him, he's going to be more familiar with the league as well.
whoa.
That's a scary prospect.
I know. By the way, he's really enjoying life here. If you see him, his face is glowing. He's been sun-kissed. Looks like he's been training. So he's a couple shades more tanned because life in Los Angeles. You just see his face. He just looks so thrilled. I'm not saying he didn't look like that way in Spurs, but you don't know how it's going to happen here. But he's very good. I want to share something I saw in a tweet from Steve Han, who covers Korean football. He says the Korean public are calling the partnership between Son Heung-min and Denny Bawanga Hyung-bu Duo. So I say print the shirts. And then on the back, bromance. That's you. You'll get like 5% payoff that you could do. So this Denny Bawanga, as we touched on it a little bit about how he had to pivot a little somewhat, but it feels like everything's falling in his place. The goal that they were scored, St. Louis shaky, and I believe it was Edward Leuven, this really bad back pass, and he pounced on it. He also, I think the grand total by the end of the game was involved in 8 scoring opportunities for him or others. So his vertical play is opening the door, constantly a threat, and I think we're also seeing his presence. Sometimes Son Heung-min gets defended so heavily that defense collapse on him, but Denny Bowanga's presence has allowed some space, as we saw in the 2 goals. So it's working very well. And like you said, it's not a one-man. The reality that Denny's playing this way, to me, makes LAFC a really good team now turn into an MLS Cup caliber team. Probably got to be the favorites amongst the MLS teams that are out there right now.
You know, as you're talking there, Max, the thing that I'm thinking about as well from Denny's standpoint, right, Bwanga's standpoint is, because we talked about we gave the little anecdote about when you're the alpha, when you are the guy, when it's your team, and welcoming in new guys that are going to contend for that position within the dynamic. I don't think, as you're talking, I don't think Denny's taking it that way. To me, it's kind of felt like this is a breath of fresh air. I have help, right? I have legitimate help. And so the burden, although I will never, ever argue the fact that he wants the responsibility, he wants to be the guy, but it's nice to have someone who's going to also chip in with goals, who's also going to take some of that pressure and responsibility, and we're going to share that, right? Like now it's, instead of it having the future of our club depending just solely on me, no, I have someone who's going to also contribute in that same kind of fashion, who's going to draw attention from defenders. That's going to create space for me. I'm going to draw attention of defenders and create space for him, right? So I think that as much as when we talked to Steve Toronto, he was talking about one of the things he loves about Denny is that he wants to compete. Like there are some days where he's like, hey, look, Denny, we, have a lighter session. And he's looking at him like, no, if I'm out here, I'm training. I want to win in training. I want to compete. And you love that kind of energy. It's infectious among a group. And I'm sure Son comes in and brings that same level of competitiveness in the right way, right? Where one is making the other one better. Denny's out there performing, he's making Son better. Son's out there killing it, and he's making Denny better because they're both continuously pushing their levels. Now there's a competitive drive between the two of them that's fueling one another and ultimately bettering their team. To your point about them being MLS Cup contenders, for sure.
자, 여러분들은 손흥민이 남은 경기 몇 골 넣을 것 같나요? 네. 12골이면 진짜 대박이긴 하네요. 네. 내년에도 스트라이커 포지션은 절대로 건들면 안 됩니다. 건들지 맙시다. 자, 내년 새로운 감독과 새로운 전술, 손흥민 포지션은 내년에 생각하기로 하죠. 네. 이상 흰수염고래였습니다. 감사합니다.